Chapter 61. Sihel commits a blunder. Abidom's great testimony to Sihel. With these words Sihel was filled, and the words were power, spirit, and life out of God. And God was every word from the mouth of the Holy Father. For God is the power in the love called the Father. Just as love is the endless strength, might, and authority in all the power of God. Thus, filled with these words, which are the power of God's Spirit, Sihel stayed with Abidom, not giving up his place to another who was also called. However, with Sihel, the reason for his staying on was by no means some pride of place or ambition, but what held him firmly bound to me was solely his childlike love. This is why I, as Abidom, said to him merely for the sake of making room, also these words: Sihel, behold, the others must also still come to me as you came to me when I called you. Therefore, you surely may and can make a little room. For now you can be without fear of ever losing me again. Come as far as here. Rejoice about it. You did it out of your own strength, or according to your own will. Thus, as far as you were able to go, you did go alone. And when you came close to me, I hurried towards you and all the others. But now you are fully with me, and need not take another step, but can remain with me peacefully, or actively follow me wherever I go. But what I have said here concerns merely the heart and the spirit within the same, as well as its ramifications, and by no means the body. Therefore, you can be physically wherever you like. If your heart is with me in all the love of your spirit, you are everywhere equally close to me. But even if, in a physical sense, you were sitting on my back whilst your heart were reflecting on the depth of the ocean, or your spirit were roaming among the stars or in some remote region of the earth, verily, you would be as far from me as your heart and the love of your spirit were. Therefore, my beloved Sihel, you can now calmly stay a little farther from me where your body is concerned, so that also your brothers will be able to approach me at first physically for the same reason for which you approached me at first physically. Do you understand this, beloved Sihel? And Sihel in his heart answered this question in the affirmative, and Abidom thereupon replied, So act accordingly. Amen. And Sihel became elated in his heart, glorified and praised the Father in Abidom, gave God all honour of his spirit, and stepped aside. Now, averting his eye from Abidom, he went backwards, not seeing where he was treading. And it so happened that he trod on Gabriel's foot with his heel. About this, Gabriel became somewhat angry, and rebuked Sihel, saying, Just tell me why you do not walk in the fashion your feet were meant to walk. Why backwards, not heeding the feet of the brothers just as if they were paving stones on lanes and roads, since your knees bend forwards and not backwards? Besides, wherever you turn, you do not move from the spot. Do you maybe imagine that one can delay the Lord in the same manner as one often annoyingly enough holds up the likes of us? Look, Sihel, how foolish you have been again. I have seen it from afar in Abidom's face, who is holy, holy, exceedingly holy, and the most loving Father of us all, that you already annoyed him with your foolishness, which he surely indicated to you clearly enough by his last words. But you did not notice it, and even now act as if your senses were somewhat deranged, going clumsily backwards without considering in the least who he is who is before us, and on what you are stepping with your clumsy feet. I entreat you, Brother Sihel, pull yourself together for once, and become another man, at least before God, if you should not find it worth the trouble before us, your brothers, to be a man in whom we could be pleased. Truly, I am ashamed of you. Now the poor Sihel, in his embarrassment, did not know what to do, for at this moment he did not know whose forgiveness to ask first. And although he tried to talk, his tongue failed him. When, after a few moments, he had pulled himself together as far as possible, he rushed forward to Abidom, fervently beseeching him to forgive him, since he had previously overlooked in whose presence he was, and whom he had surely annoyed through his tardiness. And he also entreated Abidom to heal his brother Gabriel's foot, should the latter be in pain owing to his clumsy kick. But Abidom bent down and promptly raised poor Sihel from the ground, then pressed him to his heart, and said to him as well as to all the others, Sihel, I tell you, you are no longer a man, but a pure and great angel of the most sublime heaven. Yes, I tell you, what you are now, you were already in your mother's womb, namely, an immortal primordial descendant from the highest heaven, where nothing is dwelling but alone the most innocent love of the smallest spirits, who are the most powerful and wise, because they dwell in the innermost, most holy depth of my heart. O Sihel, you my great beloved, do you now recognize me as you have recognized me already from eternities? Namely, that I am your dear Holy Father. Do you remember floating by my side through the endless, still completely empty space, when I said to you, Faithful brother of my love, behold, a brother is fallen down into the endless depth, which is endless and forever filled with the fire of my most infinite and most eternal deity. Here, let us out of this tear in my eye found a first son. And you replied, Most Holy Father, your holy will be done. And telling me this, do you further remember that a tear fell also from your eyes? And I blessed this, your tear, and said, Dear brother of my eternal, endless love, behold, through this your tear, this son, the first and greatest, shall be fructified, so that through it the whole endless space shall in the future be filled with countless children of its kind, as far as where the eternal fire of my deity takes its eternal beginning. However, dear brother Sihel, No more of this now. Be therefore also without fear, for our acquaintance and love is of long standing. Now you must also clearly realize why you were going backwards, unable to take your eyes off me. See, Hel, this was your last trial, save one of short duration in the future, and then another one, the very last, when I shall send you as my forerunner. For now, keep your body for as long as you will, but my countenance you shall never miss. Thus also you shall comprehend your vision like any other, but keep it to yourself. Because you stepped on Gabriel's foot, he shall become a teacher of the signs, and you his master. And this shall be a great lesson in humility for him, as for all others that he has now learnt, that he whom he had considered a fool is in fact a very old brother of my eternal love, and existed prior to all stars, the sun, the moon, and the earth. However, dear brother, let us now hear what all the other brothers have seen in their hearts. Amen.